If I make a video where I'm acting nuts, just off the wall, it would most likely suggest that I'm an off the wall nuts person. But people who know me personally know that I don't act like that in my day to day. A lot of times when I act off the wall in my videos, it really challenges people, especially who know me personally, to not prejudge me. Um, I think the most thing anyone can learn from all of my videos, not just this one, is a message about how our minds tend to prejudge people and to become as conscious and aware of that as much as possible. Some people really are very conscious about it because they really don't want to be that way. Some people don't care as much, not that they don't care or that they're not good people. It doesn't mean they're prejudiced. We're all prejudiced deep down. But we can have awareness about how we judge people, and some people are more aware of it than others. For instance, growing up, for me, prejudice was a huge part of my life. For a good part of my childhood, I was in braces, back braces, and at one point I wore a halo on my head after spinal fusion, and it was just a horrible time. How the world was around me. Everyone would stare, even adults would stare. They would always say, "Don't stare, it's not polite." That got sort of stuck in my head that I'm different when really we're all a bit different. And I'll get into that a little bit more in a second. So I got in my head early on that being born with certain things that I was different than everyone else because people treated me different. And some people treated me different out of extreme love and compassion. Um, and it's just amazing how prejudgment can affect one person's life. So at an early age, I think unconsciously I noticed I related to feelings of being different. And I sort of made that connection with prejudice. And I always was into Martin Luther King. You know, if anything, I felt most prejudiced towards people who really were prejudiced because it just didn't seem moral or right to me. And my mom brought me up with the golden rule. My mom also brought me up every Dr. King Day reading the storybook um, entitled A Picture Book of Martin Luther King Jr. You can get it yourself. It's by Adler David A. So I think that put something into my head too, reading that book every Martin Luther King Day. So I always thought of prejudice as almost evil because I hated when people would stare at me and all of that. It was like a feeling of disconnecting myself at a young age like that. I can't even put it in words. It's hard to describe that kind of pain. Eventually I wanted to be different. I felt like I had to be different. It was the only way. In a sense, I felt special because I wasn't exactly like everybody else. When physically and emotionally, for the most part, I was capable of doing everything and anything every other kid was doing, except tackle football on the account of a couple missing ribs. And then going into the hospital after hospital after hospital after hospital and all of that stuff with the mental health system, it really was an interruption, like that movie Girl Interrupted. And I think we all want to be good people. I mean, I do at least. Some of our views of what good or moral is, they vary just a tiny bit from person to person because of how we were raised, and everyone has their own views. So, all of us, if we act our true selves, which is something I believe in, we should all just be real and open how we are with ourselves, and not put on an act. If we're all different. I think we all seem a little bit strange to even people we know. Like if you have a friend and you think he or she is a bit nuts, and you're like in a joking way though, you're like, oh, you gotta meet my friend. She's a character. He's a character. He's nuts, but like in a joking way. But no, he's a great guy. She's a great girl. You know, we all want to fit into that role we have for us in society. Or where would we go? I don't know. Personally, I'm still trying to find out. Where would you go if you didn't have your role in society? So, anyways, I've come to believe that it's a good thing to be ordinary. you know, because being ordinary is to be what I prefer to call the everyman or the every woman. It's the person you'll see in your favorite TV show or a movie. It's the person who we all look up to because the ordinary person has all the main traits that we tend to look up to as a good and just person. So really, being ordinary isn't a bad thing. If you're ordinary, it means that you have courage, you have a heart, leadership, you have a conscience, you know, you can do the basic things a man or a woman does. Well, some people were made to feel they couldn't do those things, and they have to search elsewhere for feelings of normality, be it the mental institution, getting electroconvulsive therapy, or whatever it may be. But like I said, we all want that role in society because nobody wants to be an outcast. Because if I said you're outcasted, you're a misfit, you're now a misfit, it makes it so much harder to overall survive. Because, I mean, society was formed to keep people from breaking the law and to keep order so people can go about their lives and, like I said, ultimately survive. So you can imagine and really notice how people outside that box can feel. So back to me and my videos. I think the best thing you can get from my videos, whether you're a person who knows me or not, I think it's important to keep an eye out when you watch my videos because underneath this nuts off the wall guy you see is a regular kind person like everyone else. Because all I'm doing with my videos is I've let go of the idea that there's a camera in front of me. You know, it's as if I simply make the video for myself like it's a diary or something. You may think that's selfish or a waste of precious time. I disagree because I think not just for me, if you search YouTube, you'll find millions of people who don't seem to care that there's a camera. They feel very natural, very comfortable with it. It's like an escape for them, and that's kind of how it is for me. I have a lot of thoughts. I want to get them out of my head, and just turn off my mind. And so a lot of my videos may seem random or not important to other people, and I realize that. So I try to take my ideas and use them so they're helpful for other people. That's why I share them as part of what I'm doing. So when it comes to something like social oppression, which is a form of oppression that I feel that we as a people are the ones who have the ability to change that. I mean, look around. Society's changing. Everything's very progressive right now with technology. So change is in the air. I just think it would also be cool if we would also learn to treat people better, to be aware of prejudice, and how we judge people. I mean, look at the comments on the bottom of the YouTube videos. I mean, people just don't care. I'm very aware of it to the point, not so much being cruel to people. I can be an asshole. I'm very aware of prejudice to the point where I won't let myself make the smallest prejudgment. Even deep down, I'm still a prejudiced person because it's human nature. But I've taken it away as much as anyone really can. And imagine if everyone was more aware of prejudging. And I think you really do have to be in my shoes, or you have to be in that person's shoes to really understand where I'm really coming from, to really take in what I'm saying right now on a deeper level and want to do something about it and help change and be a part of really your society so we can evolve and grow as best as we can. And that's what I'm doing. I'm making a movement. I've made this movement. I haven't been very successful with it, but I'm not giving up. Um, so for this video, take with you the suggestion of when you go about your day to day and you're in your routine and you may feel more aware of people around you and notice how you react with this new suggestion of what I said about prejudice. A lot of times when I act off the wall, again, in my videos, um, it's up to you, really, to see if it's right or moral in your eyes, if it's what any other 27-year-old adult should be doing on YouTube, and how you judge me. Everyone's going to judge. I have no problem with that. Um, but my videos are a perfect example, like a test to see, by watching them, eliminating bias and things like that, you know. So you can watch my videos and comment below just as anyone would do, and maybe you feel I'm just an attention seeker, which I admit to an extent I am. Again, all I'm doing is I let go of that barrier as if I'm talking to a good friend. It's an escape for me. And like I've said, I try to take my own thoughts and make them useful for other people. How I feel about escape is very important. I believe everybody should have that escapism, or the world will give an escape for you and it will wind up killing you. You got to have that passion. Um, that's my personal thought. So yeah, my videos may be very random. So I think the best thing that somebody can get out of my videos, um, is to pay attention to them and try hard not to judge with this new suggestion. Um, it's not like I'm, you know, doing something so horrible on YouTube where I'd get kicked off. I know my limitations. You know, so I just think this is the best way I can challenge people and what they can get out of my videos when they can be so random. I know I just said that probably. Um, let me see. This is written down. I, you know, so thank you for listening. I said a lot. Have a great day.